Good evening and welcome to the Cover One Roundup. I am your usual host, David Faux. With me is the former disgraced host of the Cover One Roundup, now calling himself friend of the show, Kyle Silagyi. Along with me is Thomas DeLaus of Buffalo Late Night and Greg Tompsett, who once called me on Twitter his favorite person at Cover One, and I will never let him forget that. Yeah. The receipts are there. I have it. So you can never take that back. So thank you all for joining me tonight as we do our second annual Cover One Roundup Trivia Extravaganza. If I thought about having celebratory music, I would have done it right now. But I didn't. So exactly. Just like imagine some like really pumping rave music in your mind. That's about what I would have done right now. There you go. Yeah,
love it.
RJ says, so glad this is now an annual thing. It was a blast last year. I'm glad that people like this because this is the sort of thing. This is the sort of thing that I do in the off season because I can't think of anything else to do, and I enjoy having fun with people. So, yeah, and in spite of that, we're gonna do trivia. So, we are gonna jump into this pretty quickly because there's nothing going on. Like last year, we were able to talk about Leonard Floyd being signed, but there's no Leonard Floyd signing this year. So we can't spend like a half hour talking about that. We spent like a half hour talking about that, and then a good like 5 to 10 minutes talking about Stefon Diggs being at some Jewish kids' party.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, that happened, right? Yeah.
And Kyle thought it was Amish, which was even more funny.
That's an honest mistake. An honest mistake. You saw the apparel.
I only know this because I went back to look at the video from last year. I remembered that being a discussion. I was like, wait, how did this all end? Anyway, so if you want to relive that, you could go to last year's video and
the Roundup used to be lit. The Roundup used to be
the Roundup used to be something. And now it's something else. Gentlemen, how are we all tonight? Thomas, we'll start with you because you're on my immediate left.
I'm good. I spent this weekend in Baltimore, which was a blast.
Very good.
So I've been driving 5.5 hours today. It was a pretty easy drive, all things considered, but I spent the last 2.5 hours laying on the couch, in and out of sleeping, watching Breaking Bad. So all in all, very good day.
That's pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a long time since I've watched Breaking Bad. I remember watching it the first time with my college roommate before we would go to bed, because that's the sort of thing you watch before you sleep, right? Yeah. Just like a very, very normal thing to watch before you sleep.
Maybe
I guess
like
in college.
Maybe the all-time best cliffhanger show of all time, and that's what you watch before bed. Like the intensity
first
at
of
which
all,
they would leave at the end of shows was insane.
First of all, I would argue that 24 is the biggest contender. Like that is the most deliberate cliffhanger show of all time. But I agree,
also a show not to watch right before bed.
Also, yeah, that's another great. That is not a show you watched before bed. Greg, how are you?
Good. Pretty cool. We head back to Western New York this weekend. Was there for my daughter is the flower girl in a family wedding coming up here, so there was a wedding shower this weekend and got to check out some stuff back at home and hang out with my parents, and then got back today and just relaxing, nice day back here before unfortunately back to the real world tomorrow.
Very good, always good stuff. Kyle, how are you?
I'm alive. How are you?
Yeah, I'm here,
hanging in there. We're hanging in.
So much is said and so little between us. All right. So for folks that were not here last year, we are going to go through. I've got a number of questions here. I've got divided into 3 categories. They are not the same categories as last year. They are much more vague and broad because I didn't necessarily want to repeat exactly what I did last year because that felt repetitive. But I also couldn't exactly figure out what to do category-wise, so I was just like, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this. So the categories are, and they are not in some like ascending order of difficulty, they're just how I categorize these. So the first category is records. The second category is parentheses, not so fun facts. And the third category is obscure moments that only I probably remember or care about.
Oh, awesome.
So
Everyone loves a good parenthetical.
that's right. So we are, unless there are any objections, actually, no, there are objections. There are objections from people who are very important to us, and that is those who sponsor our show. And to start it off, we are going to go into the other dimensions of the universe in order to have Greg Tompsett also read about Cover One Pass for us.
Many people ask us the best way to support us here at Cover One, and that is to sign up to become a Cover One Pass member. That contribution helps give us the access to all the data and information we use to create the content that you love.
And I think most importantly, brings you into our community of insiders. It's a great community based on Slack. I know a lot of people don't want to be on social media anymore or be in on those conversations. We bring all of it to you right in our great community of educated fans. And most importantly, you get access to our content creators.
Even better than that, everybody loves merch. You get awesome t-shirts, a cool decal, and a letter from the Cover One team signed directly to you.
All for $60. That gets you the entire season, next year's free agency and draft. $60. Click the link in the description. Cover One Insider. Become one today.
Thank you to Greg of the past and also Greg of the present for doing that read immaculately and for doing your quick costume change right there. I mean, that was pretty impressive. I won't lie.
It's one of my many skills.
Of course. In addition to you lovely folks who subscribe to One Pass, we also are sponsored by the wonderful people over at Underdog Fantasy. Folks, it is that time of year where you're probably figuring out which drafts you want to do. Figure it out now, because if you can't figure it out, or if you just want to do more than your one home league that you suck at every year, you can do Underdog Fantasy's drafts. You've got all the fun of drafting your own players without the waivers and lineup decisions. Best ball drafts allow you to have all the fun of drafting your team, all the chances to win big, and none of the week-to-week hassle. If you use the promo code COVER1 when signing up to make your first deposit, Underdog will match that deposit up to $100. That is a free $100 in free play if you use promo code COVER1. Sign up today and start winning today. All right. For the folks at home, if you are watching us live right now, feel free. In fact, I would encourage you to play along in the chat. Granted, we're not going to keep track of you and your score.
We got to
in
close the chat as well.
So yeah, there's no looking at the chat. I'll look at the chat because I already have the answers. So yeah, I'm kind of like God in this scenario. But
I don't do well with temptation, so I have to just close it in the side.
Yeah. So, without much further ado, I think we are good to go. Folks, let's open Trivia Night. All right. We're going to start with our first category, and that is records. The first question. From most to least, who are the three leading quarterbacks in career passing yards for the Buffalo Bills? So you have to start with the franchise leader, then second, and then third. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There is a specific order to this. Your time of 60 seconds starts now. For those of you who are at home and wondering how many quarterbacks could possibly even begin to come close in this particular scenario, let me tell you, it's not much. There is not exactly a strong list of... This is not like Green Bay, right? Where you had like a guy early on and then, a couple of guys as you threw out and then like three straight guys, right? Yeah.
There's four names, and it's just the
There's
order
four names
of the
Yep.
the third and fourth one that I can't.
Well, you only need three, so it's just the top three. I don't know where you're getting four from, but yeah.
No, I mean, there's four names that could.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. All right, are we all set?
He's not in it, but he's close.
Greg, are you set?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so go ahead and reveal your answers. Okay, so Kyle and Greg are correct. So It
So how
is
close is
Jim
Jack?
Kelly. It is Jim Kelly, Joe Ferguson, and Josh Allen is third. If you are wondering what that all looks like, I will pull that up. Oh my gosh, I should have had this ready, but it's right here. I got it. By the way, any stats I pull are from Pro Football Reference, which historically speaking has been pretty good for this sort of thing. So if you have an issue, take it up with them. Jim Kelly leads by a pretty strong margin at the moment, 35,000 plus yards. Joe Ferguson is at 27,000 plus yards, and Josh Allen through 2023 is at 22,000 plus yards.
I thought he was close. Okay.
So Josh has
it's
one
about a
awesome
season's
season
worth.
or 2 seasons. If he one awesome season, it's doable, but probably 2 seasons.
See, so in 2 years, I'm great. I'm good.
Exactly.
Got that right.
Exactly.
Okay.
You've nailed it.
Duly
All right.
noted.
So that was really only one single answer because they had to be in a specific order. So Greg and Kyle, you each get 1 point. Thomas, you still have 0. I'm it sucks, but
Womp womp.
yeah. All right. Second question from our records category. As soon as I pull it up here. Why can't I just there? There we go. Final one. All right. So, second question. Who has the 3 best rushing seasons in Buffalo Bills history? Now, you might be thinking, David, that was a singular pronoun. Is it just one person? Let me tell you, it is none of your damn business. If you think it's 3 different people, if you think it's 2 different people, if you think it's one person, figure it out. All right.
Now, do you want them? Do you just want the names, or do you want the order?
I just want the names. I don't care about the order for this one. Just the names. Who has the 3 best rushing seasons in Buffalo Bills history? Your 60 seconds on the clock starts now. Joe DeRosa of Tuesday Nights Under Review. Check it out. David should sing the Jeopardy tune while they write their answers down.
I was going to say, if we played it, we would get claimed for copyright.
Oh, immediately. My dad probably could play it on the piano, but they're watching baseball right now, so, I'd rather not interrupt that. Let's see. Some people are saying some names. Some people are saying some other names. It is interesting. Yeah. All right. Are we all set? Are we all good to go?
I'm as ready as I'm gonna be, David.
All right.
Yeah. I'm really
Reveal
just
your
glad I
answers,
tag along.
folks.
I'm going with 2 names.
Same.
Reveal your answers. OJ Thurman, OJ Thurman, OJ and Thurman. You are all wrong, except you are also right because it's all OJ.
Oh, he has all 3?
He has all
Not surprising.
3 seasons.
Not surprising.
So, let me see if I
think that
can.
is a win that I am still only a point behind. So
That's fair.
we're doing
That
good.
is fair. So
I
won
felt
an
really
MVP.
sure OJ had the top 2.
yes. So obviously he
figured
has the
OJ got
first because he had 2,000 yards and no other running back has
He had another
has
1,800
surpassed
too.
that. He had 2,003 yards in 1973. He had 1,800 yards in 1975, and then followed that up in 1976 with 1,500 yards.
Wow.
OJ.
It is amazing.
1,500 rushing. He just had the 2,000 on purpose.
Right.
Or all scrimmage.
Yeah. So I often think I think about O.J. Simpson probably more than I should in my life, and I often think about the fact that depending on when you were born, you think of O.J. Simpson in an entirely your first thought of O.J. Simpson is entirely different from somebody else's.
in
O.J.
a very
Simpson, the
different-
football player from USC and went to Buffalo? No. O.J. Simpson, the actor. No. Wait, didn't he kill his wife? Who's to say?
So he's in a much darker note, but there's a very similar story if you talk to anyone who is really into the boxing scene about how all of us, and I feel comfortable saying us, see George Foreman versus there was a time where George Foreman was the scariest man alive. Without any contact. He was the scariest human alive and was just a terrifying man. And now he's everybody's funny uncle. It's hysterical. None of us know him as anything other than big, lovable, sells grills
That's right.
guy. And like there was a good period of time where that was the scariest man alive. And he's just totally lost.
Wait, what's more ridiculous about that is there's people that own George Foreman grills who don't even know who George Foreman is.
Exactly.
For sure. John Madden, I did a big thing on that when he passed away. Like the 3 different worlds of John Madden. Like there was, a Super Bowl Hall of Fame coach.
Yep.
Then full stop. Then an entire career as the greatest commentator of all time. And then a full stop. And people who only know his name from the video game. Exactly. And like 3 completely different worlds. It's funny how people could be like that.
Exactly. Age is a wonderful thing sometimes, kind of. All right, moving on to question number 3. We are currently, because nobody actually got that right, it kind of required all 3 answers to be right. We're still Kyle and Greg tied at 1, Thomas at 0. So, question number 3. There are 4 players who comprise the 10 best receiving seasons in Bills history. Name all of them. These do not need to be in any particular order. Okay? So there are 4 players that you are looking for. There are 4 players. You get a point for each player that you get right. All right?
So reread the question one more time for me. I just want to hear what exactly it is.
There are 4 players who comprise the 10 best receiving seasons in Bills history. Name all of them in no particular order. Your 30 seconds on the clock starts now. This is also an interesting one because I could not have told you one of these guys. Like, one of these guys was a little surprising. The other 3 are about what you would expect.
The 3 are
one. Yeah.
I've got 2 guys. I've got a 4th and a 5th that I'm debating.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
you got?
You got 10 seconds.
Whoa.
I'll be generous.
I'm forgetting Buffalo Bills now.
I'll make it. I'll be generous. We'll make it 20 seconds starting now.
Wait, did you say yards or catches?
Yards.
Okay.
This is about yards. I don't think I specified. I think I just said receiving seasons. I meant yards.
Okay.
Not catches. So you got 10 seconds.
I'm gonna be really mad because I'm like stuck between 2 guys as the last one, and I.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the other one just as who I thought it could also be, but that's not who I'm considering.
Whoever gets the most points.
2, 1. All right, gentlemen, reveal your answers.
Peerless Price or Liam.
Okay.
Like which one's right?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
Oh, Stevie, I didn't even.
It is Peerless Price, no! Andre Reed, Eric Moulds, and Stephon Diggs.
No.
Girl.
All right. So, hold on. Wait, so Thomas, I believe you had all 4.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Okay.
Job.
So
I went with that.
And Kyle, you had 3 out of 4?
Yes.
And then
I almost switched to
Eric had 3 out of 4. Okay. Yep. So we are all tied at 4 now. Yeah. There you go. You see how things change? This was wonderful about trivia. And just so to specify, Stephon Diggs has the 4 best seasons in terms of receiving yards in Bills history. The top 4 are Stephon Diggs. Eric Moulds has 5, 6, and 9 in 2002, 2000, and 2004. Andre Reed has number 10 and only number 10 in 1989. Peerless Price has the 7th most receiving yards in a single season in Buffalo Bills history. Fun fact.
It was a year right before he got the contract, correct?
Probably. I don't know enough about that era. I was like 7 and not interested in football at that time. Fun fact, Cole Beasley has the 11th and 12th best seasons in terms of yards.
That's a not so fun fact, actually.
No. That's for the next category. Yeah. We'll get there. Don't worry about that.
He also has the 11th and 12th most popular hip-hop albums in Bills history as well.
You know, you might actually be right about that. That may actually be a factual statement. I might include that in next year's Name
one song from Cole Beasley.
Oh God. I'm gonna do that next year. If any of you get that right, I'm gonna lose my mind. All right.
If you gave me 10 minutes, I might be able to think of one right now.
Question number 4. All right, this is another one where there are multiple points available, and they do not need to be in any order. Okay. Who are the top 5 leaders in career sacks for the Buffalo Bills? Top 5.
So
Cumulative.
just as Bills.
Just as Bills.
Okay.
Any other part of their career with another team does not count. It has to count for the Buffalo Bills. Your time of 60 seconds starts now.
Are you talking cumulative?
Yeah, like over their career with the Bills.
Yeah,
so it's not single season. It is just all time their career with the Bills.
Oh boy.
So like the first 2, right, are obvious. We all know who the first 2 are.
I didn't
After that,
it 3. I
the first 3.
I debated this order of the second and third.
Okay, that's fair. So yeah, I mean, it'll all make sense.
Order,
there's no order. These do not need to be in any order. 20 seconds. Yeah, they don't need to be in order, but the order is kind of interesting when you look at it. This is kind of why I started to make this its own category, because I was kind of like, this like OJ having all 3 of the best seasons in rushing history is kind of crazy to me. All right, time is up, gentlemen.
A word, sorry.
Did Hansen have more than Schobel?
So, your answers. Okay, let's see.
This is my youngest. My youngest is getting.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, this one helped me
so
go.
I'm just gonna go through the answer. The number 1 is Bruce Smith. We all know that. Number 2 is Aaron Schobel with 78 career sacks. Number 3 is Phil Hansen at 61.5. Jerry Hughes is 53. And Cornelius Biscuit Bennett is 52.5 with 5.
I didn't get the order right. I would have lost if order mattered, but I got 5.
Kyle, you can't erase your answers before I score you.
I had 2 or 3. I don't remember.
Okay, well with that, I'm
Yeah,
gonna give you
Bruce
2.
Schobel.
I'm gonna. If it was 3, I'm gonna penalize you for erasing your answer early.
No, it was Bruce and Schobel.
Okay, so we have Kyle
Where
with
did-
6. Greg
Bryce
gets all
Popper
5,
or
so
Mario
he's at
go?
9. I have
I bet
no
you they
idea.
would have
I saw the top
in
5, and that's
career.
all I cared about.
I bet you they would in like total in their NFL career, but their times in Buffalo were too
We're
short.
pretty short, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I bet you career wise they would be overall top 5.
yeah.
Well, I guess
Mario-
technically Sean Merriman would too if we count.
if only.
God, that was such a fun time.
when that
moment.
came through on my phone that they had claimed Merriman off of waivers, I was like, oh hell yes, and then that just turned into absolutely nothing. Shocker that was the case for the Bills of 2010. All right, this is the last question of this particular category.
Thank God.
you are not happy with this one.
The record. Oh, it's not doing well.
All right. Question number 5. Who has more career receiving yards with Bills? Stephon Diggs or Lee Evans?
Oh, what a question.
30 seconds. Your time starts now.
More career total?
Career receiving yards with the Bills. So we are not counting Stephon Diggs' time in Minnesota as part of this equation. It is only Stephon Diggs' 4 years with the Bills and Lee Evans' years with the Bills. That is it. You have 10 seconds remaining to write one name.
How long was Evans on the team?
It's a 50. It's a true or false question, folks. Write a name down. You have 5,
definitely
4,
not a true
3, 2, 1.
See, I know
Reveal
that
your
he has
answers.
fourth all time. I just don't know who's above him.
Stephon Diggs has 5,372 yards. Lee Evans has 5,934 yards.
I won't even take credit. That was purely a guess. That was literally a
same
coin
here.
flip of, how many years did it take Evans to do that?
That
like
is
9.
a fantastic question. It is. So I think he was drafted in 2004, and his last year with the team was 2010. So 7 years, 7 seasons.
7 seasons to 4, and he barely beat him.
Yeah. And you know what? If Stephon Diggs had to play with the likes of J.P. Lossman and Trent Edwards and Brian Brahman, etc.,
He played
probably
eight total seasons for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, it's that's
incredible.
Yeah. All right, so that is the end of category 1. At the end of the first round, we have Greg leading with 10 total points. We have Thomas in second with 8 and Kyle with 6. So we are moving on to our second category, not so fun facts. All right. I'll be honest. I did a lot of the work for this, like today, like this morning. But this was one of the first questions that I thought of. Do not ask me how or why I thought of this question, but it was something that I had to look at and really just, yeah. Anyway, so of the Bills, 18 first-round picks that they made during their 16-year drought era, starting with the 2000 draft and ending with the 2016 draft, how many of those 18 picks made at least one Pro Bowl while they were with the Bills? You do not need to name a player. You don't need to name players here. No. That would have been like genuinely evil. I would have felt bad doing that. You do get bonus points if you can name them, but you do not have to name them. You just need to give me baseline a number. Okay? Are we all set?
Sure.
I will give you 90 seconds on this one, just to kind of jog your memories a bit. Your time starts now. So there is...
Is it Pro Bowl with the Bills or
Yes, Pro Bowl with the Bills. So if a player left the Bills and then made a Pro Bowl with another team, that does not count. It has to be a Pro Bowl while they were a part of the Buffalo Bills roster.
And starting in
starting with the 2000 draft and ending with the 2016 draft.
Now, do we get points for everyone we get right, or is it you have to be exact?
So this is... So we're gonna invoke the rule, because I'd like to give at least 1 point out for getting the closest right. So this is not Price is Right rules. Whoever has the closest number is correct. Okay? So it can be over, it can be under. Whoever has the closest number is correct. But if you can put names as part of this, you get bonus points for that as well. All right? I will give you have another 45 seconds. I'm being very generous with the clock, by the way, just so you guys know.
Did EJ Manuel make a Pro Bowl?
I cannot confirm or deny that, you know? I will say someone in the chat does have this correct. And I don't know if it's a pure guess or not, but someone is correct.
I won't look.
Yeah.
See, I thought of 5 names, and I gave you my number. Shit.
I had literally written down 4 as you were saying 5, so I was already locked in. I had already written down 4.
We got 10 seconds remaining. If you have names that you're attaching to this, have them written down as well. 3, 2, 1. Markers down, folks. All right. Let's get those boards up. Okay. So, the closest is Kyle with 5. It is exactly 5 players.
Ooh, I have 5.
So, you do have 5. That is true. Okay, so Thomas and Kyle both get a point for that. Hold on, do not erase your boards. I need to see which players you got. Okay, so Kyle gets an additional 2 points for the 2 players that he got correct, that he named. Marcel Darius and Eric Wood are 2 of the players that were named to Pro Bowls. Greg gets 1 additional point for Nate Clements being a Pro Bowl selection. And Thomas gets... What is that second name? I cannot read that second name.
Darius.
Okay, so you get 1 point. All right, so
Gilmore never made a Pro
name
Bowl?
the 5.
wait, hold on. Oh wait, Gilmore does, yes. Gilmore is I thought that said
Gilmore, Stevie Johnson. Stevie never made one either?
Stevie never made one. Gilmore did in 2016. That was his
Stevie
last
wasn't
year
a
with the
first-round
Bills. Right. Stevie was not a first round pick, by the way.
God.
So Kyle gets 3 total points.
I think both of them.
Thomas
get
gets 3 total points, and Greg gets 1. Okay.
Don't call it a
So
comeback.
let's see. I'm gonna score this right now so that I can
11,
keep
11,
track
9.
of this. Yeah. Greg, why am I doing this
not
when
that
you
I'm
can just do this in your head?
Not that I'm auditing you, but
So, of the 18 first-round picks that they made, starting with the 2000 draft, they had 5 players that made a Pro Bowl with the team. Nate Clements was the first, who, by the way, phenomenal. That 2001 draft. I don't know if anyone remembers. Nate Clements in the first round, Travis Henry and Aaron Schobel with their 2 second-round picks. They had Jonas Jennings as like a 3rd-round pick who was like a solid tackle for them for a few years. That was a great draft. And when I looked at that draft, I was like, how bad were the other drafts where this one just completely went to waste? And let me tell you, they were...
Henry as your top 3 is nice.
Dude, that is like phenomenal. And honestly, that whole 2001 draft is great, right? Like Michael Vick, Drew Brees, LT. There's some great players in that 2001 draft. That I looked at the Panthers draft. First of all, their current general manager, Dan Morgan, was their first selection in that draft. And their 2nd-round pick was Chris Jenkins, who was like big, nasty, mean nose tackle, whose son just got drafted, by the way. And their 3rd-round pick, Steve Smith Sr. Like, you want to talk about building a franchise, like, that's how you do it. But when you look at the other drafts that took place for the Bills in this time, so first of all, going back to 2000, their 1st-round pick was Eric Flowers, who was a defensive end, who was, based on the stats that I see, abysmal, like just beyond abysmal. Just
him and Leif Larson were like 2 of the worst busts of all time.
They were that. I mean, I looked at that. I was like, Eric Flowers, is that wrong? Wasn't he that awful tackle for the Giants that kind of resurrected his career?
But no, a different one. Also bad.
Never draft someone named Eric Flowers. That's all I could say about that. And then Tavares Tillman, Corey Moore, Avion Black. None of these guys were like game changers or difference makers. Yet Sammy Morris, who had like an okay career overall as a 5th-round pick, but again, nothing good came out of that draft. 2001, great group. Nate Clements, Aaron Schobel, Travis Henry, Jonas Jennings. A lot of guys that like became really big, important pieces of that team. What are you showing us, Thomas?
Here on this old school 2001 football right here. Oh yeah,
love that.
That's right.
Love that you just had that with you, ready to go.
Yeah, it's right here, like old school stuff, man. I love it.
Then in 2002, so you have, speaking of other players that you shouldn't draft just based on names, Mike Williams was their 1st-round pick. Just the most like know-nothing offensive tackle I could possibly imagine. Just did nothing. Josh Reed, perfectly fine player, but as your 36th overall pick, that's a stretch for me. Ryan Denny, like, nice guy in the rotation as like a 4th guy, maybe a 5th guy, but he was mostly a special teams guy, and he was the 61st overall pick. And
correct.
Yeah, and then Coy Wire, same thing. Like, perfectly fine special teams guy, backup defensive back, not somebody that you take in the 3rd round. Yeah. 2003, Willis McGahee, Chris Kelsey, Angelo Crowell was a good player who just got assaulted by injuries in his career and just had that killed. Terrence McGee obviously became a Pro Bowler.
Best returner of all time in Bills history.
Yeah, just a very good player. 2 first-round picks in 2004 with Lee Evans and J.P. Lossman. No regrets there, I'm sure.
One of those went well.
One of those went well. They had no first-round pick in 2005, and their first pick was Roscoe Parrish. Again, no regrets there, I'm sure.
players and not the value of the spot.
2006 was just sort of the epitome of bad Bills drafting, of taking Dante Whitner 8th overall and then John McCargo at 26th overall.
And then Kyle Williams.
But then Kyle Williams comes in and is a Pro
The
Bowl
idea
type player.
there were 3 first-round picks on that NC State defensive line. I still remember that to this day. That like, oh, you don't think the guy in the middle is benefiting from Mario Williams and Manny Lawson coming off?
Yeah.
And that you think there's just a third first-round talent on the same defensive line?
Fun fact, all 3 of those guys played for the Bills.
Yeah. With all of them. And Manny
That's
Lawson was actually pretty darn good for the Bills for a little stint there.
The funny part is we ended up with all 3 of them at one point. And
right.
We said Lawson that's being okay. But
2007, Marshawn Lynch, obviously, like great player, just did not.
We didn't get the best version of him.
Yeah, just did not happen. But he did make a Pro Bowl in his second year. Paul Posluszny, who, good player, good guy, not like the greatest player of all time, but a solid pick in the second round. Trent Edwards, who I still maintain could have been something. You get into 2008, which was, why? Is that what you just said? Yeah. Because that was the first quarterback I played with in Madden, and I just have too many memories of being successful despite being on rookie mode.
That Cardinals game, destroyed his career.
Certainly didn't help.
Who was the safety? Who was the guy who
Adrian Wilson.
Adrian Wilson.
Current executive of the Cardinals, I believe. In 08 you had Leotis McKelvin. This is also the first Russ Brandon draft.
Hell yeah.
This was one of the
Russ Brandon, star of Draft Day.
We are on the same page, Dave.
David, when you look at these, are you looking at them on Pro Football Reference?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, and if you looked at their like weighted career approximate value, the WAV is like a good like litmus test of like, hey, how much overall impact did you make? This is in the running for the worst Bills draft ever.
2008? Yeah, I buy it.
The amount of value, like the fact that they got Stevie in the 7th, almost single-handedly salvages it. But it's right up there for the least value ever produced out of any total draft class.
So you have Leotis McKelvin, who was fine, right? He had his ups and downs, but he was fine.
Games.
He was the best. If you go back and I went look at that draft, he was the single best corner of 250 plus like picks.
A low bar apparently, but
it was him. It was him and DRC. They were the only 2 guys. They were both from small schools, and they both got taken super high in that draft. Right. Then in the second round, you have James Hardy. He
poor guy.
Man, just what a shame, man.
God rest his soul.
Is he dead?
Yeah,
he did pass.
I did not know that. I did not know that. Jeez, that's a shame.
Down a pretty dark spiral.
Yeah. Chris Ellis was 3rd round pick. Reggie Corner, great name for a corner, but not actually a good corner. Derek Fine, a tight end who imagine Robert Royal, but if Robert Royal actually did nothing. Robert, that is basically what Derek Fine was. He was in the league. He was drafted in 2008. He was out of the league by 2009. That was it.
He was Derek not fine then.
He was Derek not fine.
He wasn't even fine.
Alvin Bowen, Xavier Oman, Demetris Bell. If anyone recalls that
was the
blast from the past.
Hold on, Demetris Bell is the father of another. Oh gosh, who is it? Because it came up because he was like a bad father or something like that. Yeah, it was like a big story. I don't remember. I gotta look
at this. Somebody else can look that up. And then Stevie Johnson, 7th round pick, and Kennard Cox. 2009 was the second of Russ Brandon's drafts. You have Aaron Maben as the 1st overall pick, not the 1st overall pick, but the first pick in that. For the
Demetris Bell is not the father. His father is Carl Malone, who completely disowned him.
I remembered the gist of what you were saying.
That makes sense. Also, when you said Demetrius Spell is not the father, I got like immediate Maury Povich vibes from that. That was
Just said that.
That's Kyle's favorite after-school special right there.
So Aaron Maben was the 11th overall pick for some reason.
And you're saying he didn't make a Pro Bowl?
No, unfortunately.
Not yet.
But his best game came against the Bills when he was on the Jets. So he has that. Eric Wood was the second of 2 first-round picks for the Bills. He ended up being a great player for them. Jairus Byrd was their first of 2 second-round picks. Great player, great rookie season. Andy Levitri was their second-round pick in that draft. So
that should have been like a foundation.
2 stalwarts on the offensive line, a legitimate contender for best safety of that like particular time frame.
And a perfect example
even if Aaron Maben didn't work out, and obviously he didn't, but like even then, this should have been like, yeah, this is a good draft. You just missed on some weird undersized D end.
I still refuse to believe that Sean Nelson wasn't going to be an awesome tight end.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. Wholeheartedly. I don't know how
this was
that
the
failed.
epitome of the worst part of Ralph's ownership tenure.
Yes.
Because in any other phase, we would have had the full career of Jairus Byrd and Andy Levitri.
Yep.
And they would
100%.
left, and we would have realized that.
As TP Katine says, imagine if we drafted Arakpo instead, like everyone said we should. Arakpo wasn't like some like Hall of Fame guy either, but he was a guy. Like he was a good player. Like at least he was on the field.
Where it was, we wanted McKinney and we took Williams. We wanted Arakpo and we took Maben. We wanted Kuechly and we took Spiller. Like we had such a crazy stretch of those over and over and over again.
Wait, was Kuechly in the 2010 draft?
Or was it Lynch and Kuechly?
I don't know anymore.
I thought it was
Kuechly was 2012. I'm pretty sure Kuechly was 2012. But I'm
taking 2012.
So in 2010, first of all, this is easily one of the worst draft classes that I've ever witnessed in my life. CJ Spiller, Terrell Troop, Alex Carrington, Marcus. The best pick of this is definitely CJ Spiller. The second best pick is Marcus Easley because he was a good gunner on special teams. Maybe Arthur Motes. Maybe Arthur Motes.
It was fun.
But
did Spiller not make a Pro Bowl?
Spiller did not make a Pro Bowl. Not according to this.
That's crazy.
I'm going to Google that. He had a crazy year.
He had a great 2012. Oh, he had a great 2012, and he made the Pro Bowl in 2012. I'm wrong.
That's another point.
I was wrong.
1,700 scrimmage yards.
So wait, do I need to retroactive? Did you put Spiller on your list, Kyle? Okay, then I gotta retroactively add a point. I thought I had this. I guess I just didn't look at Spiller because I was just so.
If we go through every draft pick of the entire drought, that's its own show.
Fair enough.
We did that.
All right,
David and I have done that.
That is true. Yeah. Let's just say this isn't a great era of Bills football, and
it was a rough
reason
go.
for that. It was a rough go.
Anytime we did hit, they got paid by somebody else.
Pretty much, yeah. Stephon Gilmore, great example. Marcel Darius
coming home.
Was not an example of that, but he also kind of burned them.
The one time we paid somebody, it was Marcel Darius.
That's right. Yeah, just a weird time. So that is.
So now we are 11.
An overly extensive. Thank you, human calculator, Greg Tompsett. Very, very. Again, I don't know why I'm the one who's keeping track of this. Clearly I don't have to.
Extra layers of protection.
All right. So, on the same note, of the Bills 79, this is the second question, by the way. Of the Bills 79 day 3 draft picks from this same era, how many made at least one Pro Bowl while they were with the Bills?
Oh, come on.
Bonus points if you can name them. Now, I originally...
Day 3?
Day 3. So this is rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right.
I could make the argument like the draft used to not be 3 days, so we could really get into the nitty gritty.
Kyle, I'm going to live in your walls.
So we just want 4 through
I gotta close the
7?
chat.
So it is rounds 4 through 7 of the 79 picks made through rounds 4 through 7 during the Drought era, which is the drafts we just went through,
I
right?
swear to God, if you do like UDFAs next, I'm quitting, and I'm just
No, this will be the end of this particular line of thinking. How many made at least one Pro Bowl with the Bills?
With the Bills.
With the Bills. I could say honestly, and this I don't think this is a hint. I could say that weren't like you. I could say after their Bills career because it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't really change the answer anyway. I will give you 30 seconds because I've already spent so much time on this particular subject, and also I think we kind of. Never mind. Anyway, 30 seconds starting now. Yeah. I did think of this particular part of the question because I really thought it was going to be a lot closer to the number of first-round picks that made a Pro Bowl with the Bills. So there's that. But
okay, so I'm going to take it that it wasn't as close as you thought because I can only think of one right now.
You can only think of one.
I've only got one.
You've only got one. All right, 5 seconds. 4, 3.
I think Greg and I probably have the same person.
1. Show your answers, folks. Okay, so Kyle says 4.
I don't know.
You both have 1. The closest answer is 2. The closest answer would be Thomas and Greg. So you each get a point for that. Greg gets 2 total points because he says Kyle Williams, which is one of the answers. So Greg moves up to 13 points. Thomas gets
Did
is up to
Terrence
12.
McGee make a Pro Bowl?
Terrence McGee was a 4th-round pick who...
Oh, see, I thought he was a higher pick than that.
Nope.
I thought it was a second.
I should have got...
Hold on, wait, Kyle. Who were your answers?
I just threw darts at the wall or whatever. Stevie, Brian Mormon, Ryan Lindell, Kiko Alonso.
Mormon and Lindell were inspired choices, by the way. Those were great.
They were.
Wasn't Brian Mormon before 2000 though?
I have no idea.
Brian Mormon
98?
was before 2000, and he was undrafted, and he was originally on the Seahawks.
Cool.
You just don't remember that because of his time with the Bills.
I for sure would have bet money that he never played for anyone besides the Bills.
Stevie made the Pro Bowl though, correct?
No.
My mind is.
I actually knew that one, that Stevie never made a Pro Bowl.
Stevie never made a Pro Bowl.
I mean, maybe an injury replacement or something, but he never was selected.
Oh, so you're talking first ballot, like he didn't like play in the
it doesn't
game.
count. Like if you look at it, whoever it was.
If I look at Pro Football Reference, which I will do right now because I got burned on the CJ Spiller one.
That's all that ever counted in like Hall of Fame debates and stuff like that. If you're the 5th alternate and eventually play in the game, that doesn't count as a election to the Pro Bowl.
Stevie Johnson. Stevie Johnson never made it to a Pro Bowl.
All right.
That's certainly disappointing.
So I got 13, Thomas is 12. Did Kyle get one of the names?
No.
Kyle has 11. Okay. No, you didn't get one of the names? You didn't put Kyle Williams?
No.
Wow. For shame. That's brutal.
13, 12, 10.
That was a gimme, in my opinion. But, whatever. It's not easy being on top, Kyle. Everyone's gunning for you.
How the mighty have fallen.
There's plenty of time, though. Plenty of ball game left. All right. Third question. Again, this is the not-so-fun facts category. The Bills had 8 full-time and interim head coaches during the Drought era. Of those 8, who has the best winning percentage and who has the worst winning percentage? This does not include Wade Phillips, as he was the last coach pre-Sean McDermott to go to the playoffs.
Okay.
So
Wade is not one of them.
Wade is not included in this discussion. Who of those coaches? There's 8 of them. I will not give you. I need it. This includes interim coaches. Okay, so there's 8 coaches total. Give me 2 names. The one with the best winning percentage, which is an important thing to keep in mind here. The best winning percentage and the worst winning percentage. This does include interim coaches. Your time starts now.
I don't.
Oh my god.
That's dumb.
It is dumb, but that's also why I'm here, Craig. This is this is why we have the show. So here's the thing. The worst I can't say anything about the worst one because that'll give it away. The best one though is very, very close. There should be, in my opinion, 2 names in mind that
I have 3.
that should come up. You have 3. I can
If
see
the best
3.
record is freaking Perry Fuel or something. I'm gonna
Yeah,
punch
that's very
I'm gonna
cool
punch
in there.
someone. Like I swear to God,
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I understand there's probably some fond memories of the Perry Fuel interim era.
Okay.
It's not. I can tell you, it's not Perry Fuel.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Reveal your answers, gentlemen. Okay.
Wait.
There are.
Wait. One of us has Greg Williams for the best record.
So here's the thing. There are 0 correct answers on the board right now.
Fine. That's fine.
All right.
Here's the hint that I wanted to give that would have given it away.
Was it it Dick Duran?
No. They
probably
both
Brown.
coached in the same season.
Oh,
It's Rex Ryan and Anthony Lynn.
God damn
Because
it.
Anthony Lynn had 1 game that he lost. And Rex Ryan was 15 and 16 or something like that.
Okay.
Doug Marone was right behind him, by the way.
I really thought it was.
Where was Greg Williams? Because I genuinely believe that, I thought he was better, and this is such a far time ago.
Williams had the one, 4-12, 3-13 season, and we don't have very many of those. So that always stinks. Because the same thing, I always remember Chan Gailey very fondly, but he also had the season where we should have got,
Oh, the one where Ryan
Yes.
Fitzpatrick got paid through the nose?
correct.
Yes. So here's the best part, right? The only reason why Anthony Lynn is the worst one is also the reason why Rex Ryan has the best winning percentage at that time. Because assuming that Rex Ryan loses that last game of the season, which he would have, he would have had the same winning percentage as Doug Marone. But because he has 1 fewer loss than Doug Marone and the same number of wins, he has a better winning percentage. And because Anthony Lynn was the one who took that loss, and that's the only game he coached, that was it.
That's such a Rex Ryan way to be, such a sleazy, sneaky way to technically have the best record of that.
Yep.
And didn't Anthony Lynn then go and get hired by the Chargers?
Yes,
He did. And a lot of people felt like the Bills should have kept Anthony Lynn.
Yes, correct. That we
That was
should
a
have
big
kept
thing.
Anthony Lynn instead of hiring McDermott.
Yep, that was a big
Lynn
thing.
and Gus Bradley. That was the package.
That's according to Jason LaConfora.
Yes.
No
And I
disagreements with him
think
there.
Lynn is now on his. Is he?
I think he's with the Niners still, right? I think he went to
he
the
was the
Niners
running
after he
back
got
coach.
canned by the Lions.
Yeah, he was with the Lions for a minute. He
Yeah.
hasn't been OC for a bit. Anyway.
Greg Williams has a 3.54 winning percentage. He was 17 and 31 was his coaching record. Mike Mularkey.
I was close.
Sure, let's think of it that way. Now, Mike Mularkey had a winning season, which is not something a lot of these coaches can claim, but he was also 5-11 in his second season before he mysteriously vanished off the face of the earth, only to reemerge as a head coach for 2 other teams later in his career. That should have been a question. Who were the other 2 teams that hired him?
Tennessee.
This is not for points.
Tennessee's the only one I can remember.
Titans.
Jacksonville.
Oh,
It was-
the Jaguars.
He was 1 and done with the Jags in 2012. They were 2 and 14. Justin Blackmon had 1 great game before finding his way out of the field.
I truly believe to this day, my hot take of hot takes, Justin Blackmon was a Hall of Fame wide receiver if he wasn't a giant pothead.
He was a good player at Oklahoma State, and he had a great game against the Texans once, and that was it.
He was a
He's still
stud.
getting paid.
That's a
He
good
was on
question.
payroll for a long time.
A long
He got a lot of chances. A lot of chances.
He did. All right, we are going to move on to the next question. Question number 4. Again, I'll remind everyone at home, this category is not so fun facts. So just keep that in mind.
Oh boy.
After being drafted by the Buffalo Bills in the 1983 draft, Jim Kelly opted to play for the Houston Gamblers of the United States Football League, a new league created by David Dixon, whose majority owner was which future U.S. president?
Oh, this is a gimme. Also, I'm not going to say which
You-
team he owned.
Kyle knows exactly who it is. You two look so confused right
Well,
now.
I mean,
Thomas
like,
and Greg look very confused right now.
Wait, hold on. Do
only
I have to
because-
distinguish which of who I'm talking about?
Do I get a bonus point if I can name the team he owned?
No, you don't, because I don't
gotta write
know
it
and I don't
down.
have that. I can't. You go for it. All I need, I'm looking for a name. That's all I need is a name.
Okay.
You have. I'm gonna give this 10 more seconds because I forgot to start the clock, and you all should know this because this is this is such a layup. The fact that any of you
Yeah,
are struggling
no,
with
no.
this is bizarre to me.
I knew it immediately. I didn't. I'll wait till it's done.
Okay. Gentlemen, reveal your answers. Okay.
Just so
It's
Kyle
not
didn't
George
feel
Bush.
special, I also wrote down New Jersey General.
I didn't know Trump was involved with anything. I just figured based on a
Oh,
guy
no, no.
that used to
No,
own the
I-
Texas Rangers.
I 100% knew he was involved in the USFL and like the famous lawsuit. I honestly didn't know it was as a team owner. That's what
He
my
was.
take was.
He was the majority owner of.
Once Kyle went
the
down that
league.
path, I was like, oh, he must have owned the team by New York or New Jersey, which was General.
Yep.
But
Yep.
that was just context clues. I thought, I guess weirdly, I thought he was like more the Vince McMahon. Like I thought he kind of owned the league, but I didn't know it well enough. But I'll
That's
take
fair.
your points.
That's fair. Question number 5. On the same subject of Donald Trump, which NFL franchise was he interested in buying before backing out?
You're such a jerk.
Wait.
Again,
Wow.
I thought these two were gimmies. The fact that there's any sort of struggle here is bizarre to me.
No, it's not a struggle.
Kyle.
It's just like, would it be anything else?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
trying.
of course
to
it
see,
is,
like,
Kyle. It is something else. Overthink
David
the
is
shit out
a
of
terrible
this.
person. It's definitely a trick question. You should think
Yeah.
about it. further.
Overthink this. Totally.
David
It's-
is for sure a terrible person.
gotta be
Please
a team
reveal
from the
your
West Coast.
answers, folks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There we go. Yes, Donald Trump was
It was
one
the
of
Seattle
the
Seahawks, bro.
one of the. We're not gonna get into that. But yes,
just
he
for
was one of
some
the.
conflate,
Yes,
he was not on the same ownership effort as famous
Oh,
rock
Bon
and roll
Jovi?
singer
Correct.
John Bon Jovi. They were in different competing efforts. Many people conflate those now in their memories that those two were trying to buy the team together.
so
Now here's
So
the
since
thing.
everyone
Could
has
the
already-
Buffalo Bills have saved America.
There's
and-
a good argument.
we're not jumping into this particular discourse. That's not what this is about. We're going up to the line. We're
They
not
may have
crossing
changed the
over.
course. They may have changed the course of American history.
That is a factual statement. Since we already said what I was going to have as the 6th question, we could just sort of say this together and have some fun. Which rock star has not performed in Buffalo since his failed attempt to buy the Buffalo Bills? And the
gotta be
answer is
Cher,
Mr. Bovine Joni of the Toronto
Bovine.
Still
Rogers
banned
group.
in some bars around here.
Still, yeah. Bridges are
all
held
right.
forever in Buffalo.
Ah, man, what a time that was. So we're going to move into our 3rd category, except we're not.
Package incoming.
Folks, this is the nuclear round. All right, this is a new twist, which I came up with
spicy.
20 minutes before the show started.
That went really fast. Can we do a score update?
Yes, we can do a score update.
Yeah, take a
Greg
break.
is currently leading with 15, Thomas is at 13, and Kyle is at 12. It's anyone's game, and the nuclear round is about to make it wide open, I feel like. So,
12 points.
this is going to be a little tricky, all right? And I will track this as best as I can. But thankfully I have
Greg,
someone
get ready.
auditing to help. So, here's how it's going to work. Thomas, you are on my immediate left side.
Yes, sir.
And then we're going to go clockwise from there. Thomas, Greg, Kyle, back to Thomas. Okay? Does everyone understand the order in which we're doing this?
I think I know what we're doing.
Let me write it down.
Okay. So,
I don't know what we're running out of things to say, but I get the gist of the game.
in order, you will each take a turn and name one of the starting quarterbacks from the Drought era.
Okay.
If you say an incorrect name, you are out. You will, however, retain any points you score during the nuclear round. So if Thomas gets a point to start off with, and then he comes back around and says the wrong name in the second go, he keeps that 1 point, but he can no longer earn any more points after that.
Can I say this? You said a starter, as long as they started one game.
Started one game. They are officially listed as a starter during that time frame. Are we all in agreement? There are, let me make sure I get this right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, realistically, you all can get 5 apiece. I didn't even plan that. Happy accident. So, there's an equal number of names for you all to take. We're going to start with Thomas, and you can go ahead right now.
Thad Lewis.
Good one.
All right, that is a correct answer. So, hang on one sec. And we're going to do... Okay, go ahead. Greg? That is a correct answer.
Greg, what did you say? I didn't catch it.
Drew Bledsoe.
Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe. So, that's a correct answer. All right, Kyle, give me an answer.
Kyle Orton.
Kyle Orton is a correct answer. Thomas, back to you.
EJ Manuel.
EJ Manuel is a correct answer. Hang on one sec. I gotta erase Kyle Orton's name so I don't get that wrong. Okay. Greg, back to you.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a correct answer. Kyle, back to you.
J.P. Lossman.
JP Lossman is a correct answer. Thomas, back to you.
Trent
Edwards. Thank you. That is a correct answer. We can't have any cheapness here, folks. Full names, if you can. All right, so, Greg, back to you.
Kelly Holcomb.
Kelly Holcomb is a correct answer. Kyle, back to you.
And this is where Kyle being young hurts. We're going to go Alex Van Pelt. Did he start one?
He did.
Alex Van Pelt is a correct answer. Thomas, back to you.
Jeff Toole.
Jeff Toole
Tool time.
is a correct
That's
answer.
a great pull.
Greg,
Thank
back to you.
Rob Johnson.
Rob Johnson is a correct answer. Kyle, back to you.
Brian Brom.
Brian Brom, surprisingly, is a correct answer.
Okay.
All right. We're down to the final 3, and I'm actually kind of surprised this is the last 3 that are on the board. Thomas, back to you.
Derek Anderson.
No.
Derek Anderson is incorrect.
He was
This
Derek
was
Anderson started a game. He's
in
Yeah,
2018.
Drought was over.
Drought was over in 2017. This is the Drought era.
So I
Okay.
didn't say this name until now because he did make the playoffs, but he was also a starter during the Drought era. Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor is the correct answer.
Going by that logic, Nathan Peterman also started. Or he counts. Nathan Peterman started a game in 2017 against the Chargers.
Yeah,
But
we made the
Tyrod Taylor started in 2015, making him a Drought quarterback.
Yeah,
Correct.
Peterman started in a playoff season. We made the playoffs.
Peterman started in a playoff season.
The Drought was ongoing while it was happening.
That's a lame way of trying to finagle this.
I will say it's not a terrible case by Kyle. It's like in theory,
It's not a terrible case, but I will not accept it, unfortunately.
It was there was merit. There was merit.
There's merit. Kyle, there's two names on the board. Got to give me one, Kyle.
Oh, I'm still in.
You're still in.
2 names remaining.
There's 2 names remaining.
There's got to be like backup guys with like small sample games.
Maybe, maybe not.
We got Thad Lewis. We got Kyle Orton.
Thad
We
Lewis.
got EJ Manuel. I think I'm out. I'll just keep the show moving. I'll tap out.
You're gonna tap out. Greg,
Yeah.
can you name any of the other? Can you name either of the other 2?
You literally just because you made that sound. Was Doug Flutie during the drought?
That is a correct answer.
Yeah.
So there's still
Wait.
one more if you want to try and claim it. You have no
when did
no
Flutie
cause
leave?
to. So Flutie and Rob Johnson were both in the 2000 season, which was a non-playoff year under Wade Phillips. There's one more name. Does anyone have any guesses? Greg, I mean, obviously you have to start with you because you're the only one remaining. But there is one answer, and it's a dumb answer. I will admit, it's a dumb
I might
answer.
actually know it. I think I might know it. If
Okay.
you don't know, Greg.
If Greg doesn't get it, I will.
Hold on. No. Again, your comment is what did it. It's Matt Castle because of the
Yes!
fucking
That's
LaShawn
exactly
McCoy.
what
It's
I think it was.
Matt Castle.
I wouldn't have got it until you said it's a dumb one. It's the
It is a
stupid
dumb one.
formational thing because we
Yep.
moved Tyrod off to start the season as a receiver.
Yep.
Because we ran.
That's
the,
why I
like,
thought with the
fake
Derek
running
Anderson,
back
I thought I was
play.
being really smart there, and then I realized it was way too late. Oh, that's so mad now.
All right. So, Greg got a
Matt
grand
Castle.
score of 7 during the
Oh,
nuclear
yeah.
round.
God damn.
And both
Impressive.
Thomas and Kyle got 4. It's pretty impressive. Not gonna lie. This is fun. All right.
Yeah,
So-
the fact that we knocked out all 15 was pretty good.
The fact that you all got every single one is actually very surprising to me. I
I
was
thought
not
you were going
expecting.
to do this where we just
I-
go around and name a
I
Bills
would not
player
have
until somebody
gotten-
fails.
I would
No,
have.
we would have been here forever.
I could have guessed all night before I said Brian Brown. I would not. I would
I'll
not.
always
I
remember
would have
Brian
got.
Brown.
I would have got all the rest from. I would have guessed all night before I said Brian Brown.
All right. We're moving on to the final category, which is obscure moments that only I remember or care about.
Jesus Christ.
The
I'm so
first.
excited about the potential of this one.
That's really messed up, I'm sure.
I could do really well here, or
And listen,
like,
I say this because I couldn't think of another. I could have said like miscellaneous, but that's boring.
No,
you know?
no, there's a
Like,
fantastic name of the cat.
yeah. So, first
Sure back in the
question.
crowd.
In 2018, the Buffalo Bills played the Jacksonville Jaguars. After a contested catch near the goal line by the Jaguars became a heated brawl, which 2 players, one from each team, were ejected from the game and were seen jawing at each other in the tunnel after their ejections.
this is my year. Your 2018
All right,
question.
your 60 seconds starts now.
Yeah, if you need 60 seconds, you're not going to get it.
Oh, I agree. I totally agree. I know Kyle has this one, and now I have a feeling Greg gets this one as well.
I mean, I'm 100% certain about one of the names, and I'm 90% certain of the other name.
Just give me one second. I'm working on the second one because I literally haven't. And I can't.
I could give a clue, Thomas. I think that might.
What's your clue, Kyle?
They would later be teammates.
I know that's
The
exactly
reason
it.
it came up was because, like, oh, I wonder if they're going to bury the hatchet in the locker room.
The other fun fact is one of these players came off of the sideline in order to join the brawl and throw a punch.
Which one.
Wonder which one it was. 5 seconds. 4, 3.
I literally
2,
cannot think of the Bills player. This
one.
is the most Shaq lost.
Laura says, and then they were teammates. Leonard Fournette and Shaq Lawson are the correct answer.
And what's
was for
sickening
sure
is
Fournette.
I
That
have
was
his
90%
signed helmet
it was
sitting
Shaq.
next to me.
90% it was Shaq.
So that's a pretty critical question because that moves Kyle and Thomas into a tie, although Greg is still pretty well ahead. Greg
Hey,
currently has
don't be
24
comfortable.
points, Kyle has 18, and Thomas has 18. So, moving on to the second question. This is a question that's worth 3 points. You get
boy.
1 point for each correct answer. So, in 2009, which this particular podcast has categorized as the epitome of the drought era of the Buffalo Bills. That was a podcast we did a couple years ago. Check it out if you want. Rookie phenom Jarris Byrd led the league in interceptions with 9. He was tied with Asante Samuel and Defensive Player of the Year Charles Woodson for that particular title, including 3 straight games, mind you, with 2 interceptions. Which 3 quarterbacks did he pick off twice in those games?
2009 quarterback.
2009 quarterbacks. There's only 3 quarterbacks. I'm not trying to trick you by being like
they were back-to-back games.
they were back-to-back games. I don't know if this is a hint. They were weeks 6, 7, and 8 of the 2009 season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks.
I'd give the teams, but that's basically giving it away at that point.
This was 2009.
2009. Your time starts now.
So I'm 12 years old. What am I doing besides caring about who Jarris Byrd is picking off?
Now, the other interesting part of this is the Bills actually won 2 out of these 3 games. One was in overtime. One was on the road. Actually, 2 of them were on the road. The one game that was at home was the one that they lost, of course. This was a part of the Dick Duran era. This was right before he got fired, essentially. I'm basically just stalling in order to give you guys some time without some
Thank
dead
you.
space. I'm trying to think if there's a useful hint.
I'm doing logical.
You're talking. I was
justifiability.
3 years out of high school at this point, and now I'm coming up on 20 years out of high school. So we're working here.
Tank Ninja says, was Favre still around? Great question. He was,
that
but
does-
this is not part of the scenario.
Okay,
Maybe it was
I
Mark
was going to say
Sanchez.
my answer was, can I name the 3 other division quarterbacks in 2000? That is like the entirety of my answer. So if Favre was one of them, I'm in trouble.
JG7785 says that was Romo Cowboys on Monday Night Football. That was 2007. This is 2009 we're talking about. Okay. Time is up.
I
So,
just named
gentlemen,
some guys.
reveal your answers. Okay, so, Thomas, what's your... Okay, is that Pennington?
Breeze, and Brady.
Okay, that's 0 correct answers. Greg, Sanchez, Henne, and Brady. Kyle, what are your answers? Brady and Pennington? There's 1 correct answer on the
Is
board
it Sanchez?
between the 3 of you, and it's Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, by process of elimination, like, hey, one of the 3 games had to be a division game.
So, in week 6, in an overtime win against the Jets, the Bills, Jarris Byrd had 2 of Sanchez's 5 interceptions in that game, including 1 in overtime, which he ripped away from recently acquired Braylon Edwards.
See, the problem with these questions are I have buried this shit so deep.
See, this is the thing.
I have tried to
2009 was when I was really getting into football, so many of these things are literally just burned into my brain forever. I will remember these sorts of things for the rest. This is why the category is obscure moments that I probably only remember and care about.
That's fair.
That was followed up by a Week 7 trip to Carolina, where
DeLaus.
Jarris Byrd picked off Jake Delhomme twice.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, not a fun game, mind you, but, Jarrisburg got 2 picks, and that was fun. They then go back home to Buffalo in Week 8 to face the Houston Texans and Matt Schaub.
Yeah, Schaub. Okay.
Yep.
All of that's just grimy. It just makes you feel ill.
Just remembering Jake Delhomme as a quarterback is...
In 2009, that was a rough year for him.
Correct
that
me
was
if I'm
not
wrong.
a fun
Super
year.
Bowl champion Jake Delhomme.
You are wrong. He was not a Super Bowl champion. He was in a Super Bowl, and they lost against the Patriots.
Yeah, that was one of the early.
Oh, right, they
Yeah.
lost against. Was that the Vinatieri pick? Vinatieri kick.
That was one of the Vinatieri kicks. Yes.
Yeah, one of his multiple Super Bowl wins.
The best part about that game, that 2003 Super Bowl, starts off super slow, very defensive heavy, not a lot of points. Second half, basically nothing but points. And then the Panthers took the lead, gave the ball back to the Patriots. They kicked off, kicked out of bounds on the game-winning drive.
Ugly.
Started Brady off at the 40-yard line on the game-winning drive.
Of course it did.
Okay, so what do we got for score here, so I can see how far I have to
right
climb to get
now,
back to Greg?
because nobody got that last question except for Greg with Mark Sanchez. Greg is leading 25 to you
that was a
two
three-pointer?
are both at 18. That was a 3-pointer.
Oh, so I got one. Okay. All right.
You got one. So
25, 18, 18.
Greg and Thomas are at 18. Greg is at 25. All right, moving on to question number 3. Dick Duran, the 2009 head coach, the coach who most epitomizes the entire Drought era, in my opinion, who was fired during the 2009 season after losing to this team. Which team did he lose to that caused him to get fired? Your time I'm going to give it 30 seconds. There's only one answer. So 30 seconds starting now. So this is probably too strong of a hint. The 2009 season was the 50th anniversary of the AFL, and this game was an AFL throwback game. If that jogs any memories for you folks.
Narrowed it down slightly, but
I was already guessing division teams, so it didn't really help all that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give it 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Gentlemen, reveal your answers. Okay, the Patriots, the Jets, and the Browns. These are all incorrect answers. It was the Tennessee Titans, and since it was an AFL throwback game, I would have accepted Houston Oilers.
The fact I don't even want to get into that. The fact that just infuriating.
So the thing that I remember about that game, other than the fact that they lost 41-17, was the fact that during that game is a legendary clip of a very old geriatric arthritic-handed Bud Adams.
Was that the one he flipped off the audience?
Flipping off the crowd.
That's right.
During the middle of the game.
I was thinking
remember
those
that.
7 Pats when Moss went for 4 touchdowns in the like Pat the Patriot. But that was 07, not 09.
That was 07.
That was
yeah.
didn't he die like shortly thereafter? After he did that middle
It was a
finger
couple
thing?
years later, I think.
Yeah.
I think. It's been a bit, but
Not that that's really
it
relevant.
wasn't short.
I feel like that was
I mean,
something.
it's kind of relevant. He looked dead in that. I mean, he basically looked like a zombie giving the finger to everyone. But yeah, whatever. All right, moving on to question number 4. Aaron Schobel is second, as we learned earlier, second in Bills history for career sacks behind Hall of Famer Bruce Smith. However, Aaron Schobel is first in sacking which Hall of Fame quarterback?
Do you need to all say it together?
I mean, you can if you want, but that's probably going to give the answer away to someone who doesn't know it. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds starting now.
Wait, they're currently in the Hall of Fame or going to be in the Hall of Fame?
They're gonna be in the Hall of Fame,
Oh,
and this is not
okay,
like
yeah.
this is not like a Oh, they might
said,
know.
You
This
said
is
Hall of
a
Fame. In my mind, I thought I knew it, and then I wanted to
No,
make
that's
sure you
fair.
weren't like.
No, that's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. All right. Do we all have answers?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this. Correct. Yes, it is, in fact, Tom Brady. Yeah. Even at the end of his very lengthy career, the player that sacked Tom Brady the most was Aaron Schobel.
Nice. 2 games a year helped a lot, and the fact that Schobel was good.
And Schobel was a good player.
It does generally
all right.
help.
5th question. We have 2 questions left.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in the 1982 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills held the 19th overall pick. The Philadelphia Eagles held the 20th overall pick. Allegedly, an Eagles scout talked to a Buffalo Bills scout about a wide receiver named Perry Tuttle from the University of Clemson. And in an effort to try and get another receiver to fall to the Eagles at 20. Come late April, during the draft, the Bills end up taking Perry Tuttle from Clemson, who did not pan out for the Bills. Surprise, surprise. Who is the wide receiver that the Bills passed on to draft Perry Tuttle that went on to have a legendary career with the Philadelphia Eagles? Your time of 30 seconds starts now.
What year did you say that was?
82.
This was 1982.
82, okay.
Now here's the thing. Philadelphia Eagles. NFC opponent, you probably didn't watch a lot of games from them. But
I wasn't alive.
Also that.
Well, I mean,
I was not alive either. But
I'm the only one of our group that was, and I was 1.
but if you know anything about Eagles history, there's probably only a few names that can come to mind. So you've got a pretty good chance here, I think.
To be honest with you, I don't know if I know anybody
All right.
beyond like 2000.
All right, so I'll do it out loud. So, like, Harold Carmichael,
go.
I think, was too early, but that was a name. Chris Carter, I wasn't sure if he was after that.
Gotta give me an answer, Greg.
Technically, I think Irvin Fryer was after that, but I would guess Harold Carmichael.
That is incorrect. It was Mike Quick from NC State. Wolfpack. Was until
that's exactly
2 years
what I was
ago.
gonna put.
I know, right? You just a little late on the trigger. I know. Until last year, or not last year, but 2022, when AJ Brown broke the record, he was the Eagles' all-time leader in catches for a single season for like 40 years, basically, which is pretty impressive, especially for that era. All right, this is the final question. And I'll be honest, this is a question that I've had in my mind for a football-based trivia night for a very long time.
Oh shit!
So this is a moment for me. So, okay. In 1999, Nick Saban was the head coach of Michigan State University. He had a pair of grad assistants who both went on to the New England Patriots. Both coaches stayed with the Patriots for several seasons before going off to other teams, but both found their way back to New England in the 2010s. By the 2020s, both of these head coaches had become hot name offensive coordinators and would both become head coaches. Who are these 2 coaches? You get a point for each one.
You said 2010s? In the 2010s, they were hot names?
In the 2020s, they became hot name offensive coordinators. So these are pretty recent names that became head coaches. These were guys who were on the Patriots multiple times. They were on the Patriots early in the 2000s, and then they came back in the 2010s later.
I'm sorry, hold on. I just want to clarify one more time. On the Patriots, as coaches or players?
They were coaches. At no point were they players in this scenario.
Okay.
They also weren't players for the Patriots in any scenario. So, if that helps. Yeah. You got 45 seconds, let's call it.
So when we say offensive coordinator,
Yes.
I'm trying to think like how to phrase.
I don't know
this
how that's
question.
confusing.
Well, no. When I say the name Matt Patricia, you'll know what I'm talking about.
He's too young. I think he's too young to have been involved in anything in '99.
Honestly, that's probably true. Even though he looks very old, he is probably too young
I
to
think
have
he's
been
too young
involved
to
in
have
that.
been on anybody's staff in '99.
Yeah. All right.
Unless he was
so
like literally a grad assistant.
it's not Matt Patricia, if that helps.
Yeah,
So,
there you
Okay, thank you.
yeah. I'm gonna give you 15 seconds. Okay, give me some names here, folks. All right, we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Folks, reveal your answers.
Writing names down. I wrote down McDaniel and White.
Okay.
Bill O'Brien's a good answer.
Bill O'Brien is a good answer. It's not a correct answer.
That's a good answer, though. Bill O'Brien's a good answer.
It was Josh McDaniels. So both Greg and Kyle get a point, and Brian Daboll.
Dable.
Oh, Dable. Damn.
Rats.
Vengeance was mine.
I really had a hard time remembering what the hell Bill O'Brien's name was. I was sitting with Bill, and I couldn't think of the hell of his last name.
Both of those guys were grad assistants at Michigan State with Nick Saban. Both, Nick Saban being a close friend of Bill Belichick, probably said, "Hey, I'm leaving Michigan State. I've got 2 guys. If you want to take a look at them, blah blah blah." Dable was there.
Could have been Matt Patricia.
Maybe.
He joined the Patriots as an offensive assistant in 2004, so it wasn't that far off. He wasn't
that far off.
Line coach in '99, so it was feasible. He could have been an answer.
Yeah. So Dable and McDaniels came up in New England. McDaniels becomes the offensive coordinator in 2006, I believe, and then Dable actually went with Eric Mangini to join the Jets when Eric Mangini became the head coach, and he was their quarterbacks coach. Then he went with Mangini to the Browns, and then McDaniels became the Broncos head coach. Everyone kind of failed in their roles. Dable went around to Miami, to Kansas City. Then both of them came back to New England because McDaniels came back to New England to be the offensive coordinator after Bill O'Brien left. And Dable just wanted a job. And then, obviously, McDaniels stays as the offensive coordinator for a long time through the 2020s. Dable goes to Alabama, gets a job with the Bills as the offensive coordinator, and then both are hired as head coaches in the 2020s. And it's been long enough now where Josh McDaniels is no longer a head coach, despite us only being in 2024.
I'm also very glad right now that no one noticed, but I put the wrong end of my marker in my mouth and caught it before I put down on my lips.
That's fantastic.
And nobody noticed, so we're doing very well right now. So thank you.
And
for
you
that.
said it anyway. I appreciate that.
I did.
I
So
respect
go ahead
the
and
content.
go
I
watch the replay on Cover One's YouTube channel.
Thank you all first of all, thank you to Greg Tompsett for being our new champion. It was not a repeat effort by Kyle Silagyi.
There's no final Jeopardy? There's no final question?
To our rubber match.
This is not Jeopardy, so no, there's no final Jeopardy.
There was a final question last year.
Yeah, when it was tied, I had a tiebreaker ready to go, courtesy of Uber Hansen. But
we should do a final question.
Do you want to just say okay?
Yeah, quick.
Yeah,
Well,
by
it's
the
just
way,
for
I
fun.
have already won. This is over.
Yes,
This is
just for fun.
Illegitimate.
Just to clarify.
All right, fun final question. Who is the heaviest player to catch a touchdown pass in the playoffs?
For the Bills? Or
Just
in
the
playoffs?
heaviest player in NFL history to catch a touchdown pass.
Are we writing it down or?
You don't have to. You could just say it if you want. I don't know.
Is it
For
Matt?
some reason-
Matt, what's his name from the Patriots? Matt, something with a W.
That's a good game. That's a good
Matt-
game. He was on the roast of Tom Brady. That was up there. That's a
Yeah, Matt,
Matt
something.
Light?
for some reason
Matt-
Vita Vea.
Matt
popped in my head.
Light. Maybe
Vita
it's
Vea.
Matt Light.
It's not Vita Vea, and it's not Matt Light. Any other guesses? Do we want to?
Did
Falcons
Refrigerator
defensive
Perry
tackle
catch a
or,
pass?
Chiefs defensive tackle guy.
Dontari Poe?
Yeah,
That was in the regular season, and I'm pretty
Okay,
sure he
okay.
threw a touchdown. I don't
Did-
know. I'm sure he caught one at some point as well, but
I remember him being involved in a big
Yeah.
touchdown.
Did
okay.
Refrigerator Perry catch a pass?
it is not Refrigerator Perry. It's Dennis Kelly, who is 1 pound heavier than Tommy Doyle,
I was.
who caught a touchdown
Hey,
in the playoffs.
Tommy Doyle.
Wow.
So
Dennis
that
Kelly,
would have been the
who is
tiebreaker.
The backup.
Apparently, that wouldn't have been a good tiebreaker, but whatever. So be it. Thank you, all of you.
Kind of fun as always.
Yeah.
Great job.
For joining us. Before we sign off, first of all, thank you all for participating and giving a very lively chat. I was looking. Some of you did very well, actually, throughout this whole thing. It's actually pretty impressive. Someone got the 5 for the first round picks for Pro Bowls, which, as it turned out, actually ended up being... Well, they said the number 5, which actually ended up being incorrect because I didn't count C.J. Spiller because I didn't think he actually made a Pro Bowl. So it was wrong, but it was still close.
Thomas and Kyle would have got that correct anyways because I guess 4, so they would have been closer either way.
Yeah, exactly. So no funny business here. But some of you did very, very well in this. I appreciate all the interaction that you all had in this. I appreciate all 3 of you for coming on and doing this. Always a lot of fun, and I plan on doing it next year, and hopefully I'll have more preparation done before the date.
And I'll continue to drink every single time and hope for the best.
Absolutely. Thomas, we'll start with you. Anything you want to plug and say to the people?
Again, I appreciate it, David. This has been so much fun, and for the second year, I don't know how you do all this research because I couldn't do it, but it was a lot of fun. Every Thursday night, come check out Buffalo Late Night here on Cover One, 7 p.m. A lot of shenanigans, and the season's so exciting right now. So come and keep me company while we talk about everything and nothing.
Exactly. Greg, what's going on with you, buddy?
All kinds of fun stuff going on. I actually just had a really good conversation with Danny Heifetz of The Ringer.
Yes.
He is incredibly entertaining, and he had a couple really inspired takes. He talked about why Keon Coleman is too pure of a soul for this world, and just there's no chance that he can be successful because we just don't deserve someone like him being good.
Genuinely fair.
And a couple other ones that were right up there, but he is an incredibly entertaining guy, so go check that show out.
Kyle, what's going on with you, man?
Wish I knew.
Let's talk about your new project. You got something fun going.
Oh,
are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead.
Well, I'll just say
to whatever Kyle's comfortable.
Right. As of right now, yeah, I am now the. Well, you may have seen on Twitter yesterday because I was Bill's idiot yesterday on Twitter. I was idiot of the day.
Keon Coleman versus Kyer Elam, a bit of a.
Yeah, I got accused of being AI and just not doing research. It's like I've written the name Keon Coleman 500 times over the last 2 weeks. Sorry. But regardless, no, I'm currently the managing editor of the Bills relaunched on Sports Illustrated stuff. So more stuff coming in that realm soon. So that'll be announced soon. And David, I would also like to announce, this is news to you as well. I am giving myself a weekly segment on your show, the Cover One Roundup, where I come on and we talk about the Star Wars: The Acolyte throughout the runtime.
Ooh, I like that.
100%.
I'm okay with that.
Not only do I authorize and endorse that, I'll watch that because I'm really excited about the Acolyte.
I am too. I need a show that can be like an actual comfortable second to Andor and not just like, I guess this one by default. Yeah. Like, all right. Thank you all again for joining us. If you're looking for more content, we have plenty all throughout: Under Review, Disguised Coverage, Flagship Show, Film Room, Buffalo Late Night. Plenty of others that I'm probably forgetting. The Fantasy Channel, Draft Weekly, all different stuff.
Under Review, Air Raid Hour.
Air Raid Hour. That was the one. That comes on in like 20 minutes. So go look at that. Yeah, thank you all for joining us. If you're looking to help us, hit like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Fantasy Channel. Subscribe to the College Football Channel. 3 separate channels. All great content.
Cover One Pass.
And also subscribe to Cover One Pass. It's the best and most direct way to support us, your wonderful content creators. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you all next week.